Okay, so that's music you're listening to. Most certainly, many people enjoy music, right? But you see,
I have not seen anybody who doesn't enjoy some kind of music or the other.
it depends on what your definition of music is sometimes. It's not you anyway.
You want to define music?
No, I'm not the one to do. We have someone to define music for us here today. Please don't give me the problem that mommy and daddy
define music. Hey. Define music.
Our guest this morning is going to talk about, because you know, the music you listen to affects your lifestyle. I mean, it's a fact that we've established here before, and it's also a reflection of your personality. It's you know, I asked the question the other time: why do some people listen to classical music and some just listen to traditional music? You know, like the Sayomare Joseph. What's that village musician from your village again? Don't answer that question. So,
from my village.
You know a person's likes and dislikes.
There's no musician in my village.
You know, we're also told that science has also established that people who play music are smarter than others.
Oh.
So, how that is,
okay,
I will find out. There is a special connection between music and the activities of your brain.
Well, some of those classical musicians were actually deformed. But when it came to music, they were geniuses.
So musicians are said to be increase their chance to have better brain activities just by playing music. Please, let's have a conversation around
Remember we had somebody who said music was therapy.
Yes, and we have another person here who is a music therapist as well, Dr. Florence Weke. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Music therapist.
Thank you for having me.
Well, they say there is no such classification as music therapy, but once you are in the whatever it is, please explain to us.
Okay, well, I'm going to start from the Paleolithic history where...
The what?
From the early Paleolithic era.
Okay, go on.
Where sounds were gotten from sculptures were made, and paintings also from carvings from bones, bottles, and all other materials. Drums were also beaten to make loud sounds. We also noticed that during that period, there were footage of children. It means there was a kind of movement which involved dance and other things. Those are different art forms. Music is one of the art forms. And music itself is not in isolation. It combines with other art forms to function effectively. Now, in music therapy, music was the first art form to be used therapeutically. In other words, it emanates or it hails from the word health to give us a kind of wellness. Before that time, we had other forms of therapy like psychotherapy, we have speech therapy, we have occupational therapy and all of that. But when music was used therapeutically, it was to give us a kind of illness from the word health. Health means, in the Old English, it's ill. Ill means it emanates from the word, the root wholeness, being whole, being ill and healthy, and so on and so forth. Now, when you talk about wholeness, it means you are in sound health, you are in sound mind. So, in daily use of the word soundness or sound mind, we use it daily, but we really don't know that we use the word music all our lives. Oh. We do not really have to be musicians or musical to use the word
sound health. That
yes, sound health from the word wholeness.
Wow.
From what you hear. So we say, if I say I'm giving you a sound advice, in other words, I'm telling you music is involved. I'm in a relationship and I want to strike a chord. I'll say I'm striking a sympathetic chord so that both of us can communicate on the same wavelength. Hey. And then if I now say, okay, as a lawyer in complex society where we need to navigate through complexities of issues and ideas, I will say I want to hire a lawyer that can beat to time. In other words, you are saying this one, I don't want him to miss a beat. And then we are talking about leadership. We want to execute a kind of, we admire leaders that can orchestrate things, orchestrate music. So we are not saying, oh, we want someone to say, this job, I need a job. And then you want to construct yourself, you strive for the job to construct your persona in a word like passing through, sound passing through. So you want soundness in all that you do. And music has been seen as a powerful tool in all of this. In the classical era where the Mozart effect, I think you were talking about earlier, that is people that engaged in music, that listen to classical music are like how many times better. There was an experiment that was carried out. People that had listened to classical music, that were exposed to some level of classical playing or classical listening, they had 9 times higher IQ than those that were not involved in that experiment. And then for other fields like decorators, designers, those involved in landscaping and all that, those ones have spatial intelligence. But their spatial intelligence is boosted or can be more energetic in a way that can be increased more if they listen to music, classical music. Now, classical music, we are saying classical music because we got our learning or our roots from the classical perspective. There's no way we can divert that from our culture.
Just 1 second.
Yeah.
Classical music is boring.
Yes.
I mean, it's,
yes.
I mean, you want a 20-year-old or a 10-year-old to sit down and be listening to Beethoven?
You'd be surprised.
I'm not talking about your generation, please.
You'll be surprised.
We will get to that. We'll get to that. I'll talk about preferences.
Okay.
And that is a kind of initiated by our taste culture, which is dominated by our culture and then our tribe, where we come from and all of that. That's music taste. But I'll come to that. Classical music is boring, so to speak, because we are not in that climb.
We're not.
We are here. Now, we have gotten a lot of our arts musicians, art composers that got their teachings and their learning from those classical roots. And they're able to give us a piece of music that when it is performed to us, we get a lot of inspiration. That is that. But we also have different musical genres that are speaking to us that we are fascinated by, simply because they have elements that help us to, get what we want, get the vibes that we need. That is why we have different musical genres. So if we are saying that classical music is boring, we don't want to debate that, because we can't take the fact that it has helped to improve. And people are using music as an alternative to healing, as an alternative to health.
No, all of that is established,
Yeah.
Dr. Wike. But what I would love for us to have conversations around here today are those choices, those preferences that you spoke to. I mean, it's mind-blowing, for instance, that even in our normal day-to-day conversations, we've been putting music, sound mind. I didn't know that it had anything to do with orchestrate a meeting. I didn't know it had anything to do with music until now. But what are the things that inform those choices that people make?
Well, the ones who listen to music.
Yes, that the ones who listen to that. Certain people, it's only classical music they listen to, and they don't want any other. And he will listen to
Akpala.
Well, Akpala is Afro-classical.
Afro-classical. Okay, all right.
Okay, though the choices of music that we made are based on musical preference, like I said, and it is centered around the social group, the individual, the gender, and then it could also be such a situational factor that we find ourselves in.
What kind of music do women normally listen to?
Yes, women, female, from some research that have been conducted, that women love playing music with lyrics that have love in them. Love, romance, soft music that they just want to, they want to just they want to feel well. And when they are inclined to listen to those music, perhaps they have their hearts shattered from maybe love, they had broken hearts, or they are experiencing a new vibe of love. It gives them the expectation of what they really want to listen to. We also have individuals, some people are going through a lot, solitude, they are depressed. And then the kind of music they listen to, from their own desire is to come out of that depression. A study, I read about a study where someone wanted to come out of depression and he was playing a kind of music, rock music. Instead of coming out of that depression, I think the situation was worse. Rock. In other words, that kind of music, hard rock, that kind of music is in opposite direction of what is supposed to be. There are so many music that when you listen to rock or rap, for instance, say the other parts that make people to be deviant, like children that are supposed to be obedient to their parents, when they are exposed to those kind of music, they become ardent, they become disobedient.
Yeah.
A lot of people that are supposed to do, you know, be sober, to reflect on societal norms, pay credence to authorities around them, they tend to, you know, they tend to deviate from those authorities. They tend to deviate from those laws, thereby creating offenses in the environment. Simply because they listen to a kind of music whose lyrics has been hyped in a way that it doesn't regard the culture and the norms that is in the society. So when all of this is done, the onions rest on the musicians that is bringing out all of this music.
So
but before,
how do people select what to be? So it sounds to me like you're saying, Dr. Wike, that there are certain times you listen to certain kinds of music.
Yeah.
And there are certain times you don't listen to those kinds of music. There are some, so long as it is music, they're dancing.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, so long as it has rhythm and it has groove, that's all they need. They are not paying attention to the lyrics per se, but you are saying now that it will have an impact on them, whether they know it or not. How does that work?
There are some music that the lyrics play a very big role to people when they listen to it. There are other lyrics where the music, where the lyrics is secondary, and you have music aesthetic elements in those music. That's inform a kind of dance, and people fast-paced dance. They are carried away by the sound that is produced by those music, and you see their actions as a result of that. And we see that in most actions of our young people, where they listen to those fast-paced listen, that incriminates whatever attitude. They want to do this, they want to be fast, they want to, you know, they want to get it going and all of that.
So you're saying that could be the reason why they are impatient? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that could be the reason, because what they are consuming, the kind of music they are consuming, fast-paced, you know, they just want to be rush, 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 you know, everything like that. Some of them, not all. So there are also some people who want to pick a kind of music because I've said about what they are going through, their mood, the kind of emotion they want to derive from the music. Sometimes it is not the lyrics. Sometimes it is just the appearance of the musician. That is why it is very important for every musician, like I said, I was going to say, the music beyond sound, music have an atmosphere. The atmosphere of music also talks about the appearance of the musician, the mannerisms, the audience that are also listening to it. So when your mannerism or the way you display the music that you want to perform is to portray a kind of lifestyle, it affects people psychologically. So when you now that is why you have to deal with those music with care, because you don't want to hamper people's psychological imaginations. Sometimes people want to get the best out of the music you give, but because they are looking at you, the picture you are portraying, that you are a performer, that you are the artist, and you are naked. People that ordinarily shouldn't think of something that is averse begin to think in that direction. You have affected them psychologically. Sometimes you also want to listen to our own kind of music. For example, the present situation we are in the country. We have listened to the realities of these things through songs. For example, Victor Olaiya sang a song, Ilule Kosowolode. Those are the kind of songs, they are realities, they are the things that we are going through. But we also have solace in some other songs telling us that, oh, which way Nigeria, no matter what it is, the land is green, the type of T.Y. Bello. And we are consoled by those music. We are consoled by those things. Now, when it comes to some other things, because of our values and our beliefs, some of us have religious inclination. We are inclined towards some beliefs. And we know that our solace or the kind of music we listen to is the praise and worship, is the one in the song. And we know that all of these are still music, praises. And when we talk about praise, we have seen the power of music in the Bible, right from the Bible history where David played the harp and Saul got healing. It also happened in 1970s or so, where in a Farinelli film, where a lady sang a high-pitched soprano, and the king got instant healing from depression, from mental illness, and from pains immediately. So some music that we also are used to around us here, in praises, we are prayed. In Nigeria, we always pray. There's virtually no service we attend that we don't pray for Nigeria. But in the light of this music we are discussing, we can actually go on for praise. Praise, when praises go up, blessings come down. So we are, okay.
I wanted to just ask, I mean, you've pretty much speeded everything for us now, but how do people choose, or would you recommend that people should select the kind of music that they listen to at certain specific times?
Okay, different music appeals to different sensibilities or sensations. You can decide to go on different musical genres. Like I said, we have several. We have the pop, we have our Nigerian own traditional folk music, we have classical music, we have reggae music, we have rock, rap, reggae, all kinds, Fuji, and so on. So it depends on what you want. It depends on what is happening to you at that point in time. It depends on your personality.
Yeah, but you've also said now that it is possible for people to develop contrary characters or whatever manipulated by music, advertently or inadvertently.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm asking that question. Would you recommend that people will be very, very selective? Even if you don't like this song, so if you like music, this is the kind of music you should listen to help you to, you know, become a better person or something.
That's why I said it depends on the individual. You know your values, you know what you want out of it. But I will always recommend that a kind of music that does not edify, that does not speak to what values you hold dear to you, you should jettison them.
I'm wondering, Dr. Nweke, how your students in the class will really will agree with you.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. My students in the class sometimes will say, Ma, we want something that everybody wants to hear. I know that there are so many things people want to hear. And those are the things that actually brings money into the pocket, so to speak. So how are we going to, like, cut this divide? It's a divide.
That's your job.
But I am saying, I will only recommend that, this is you, because it's guided by personality, like I said. Some people are introverts. No matter what you do, you can't bring them out of their shell. Some are extroverts and all of that. So the kind of music, it's either you look at the elements, the lyrics, it's either you want to get your feeling from the reading, you want to get from you just love the quality, the timbre.
You just said listen to the lyrics. Most of these songs that we listen to these days, the lyrics don't tell us much.
Yes, exactly.
We want to dance, and the music is danceable. You're not listening because most of the time the lyrics are rubbish anyway. So you want to listen.
That's why I said the rhythm.
Yeah,
you have a choice to pick.
That's right. You're enjoying it. You're not listening to what they're saying. You know.
An example of what you're saying is it's a song. I asked my daughter, what do you understand to be the meaning of the song? The title of the song is saying, I like the way you lie. And my daughter was singing this song with rapturous...
She was listening to the lyrics.
She knows the lyrics.
Okay.
I was
She enjoys the beats.
Along.
And it was a beautiful, yes, you're right, it was a beautifully produced song, Ray J and some other lady. And after that, I was like, she was singing it so innocently, so offhandishly. I said, pause.
Ponder.
Do you
Reset.
Can you hear what you're saying?
She probably hadn't thought about it.
What did you just say now? I like the way you lie. That's true. That's what I just said. And this is live. Corroborating what she just said, that people just go with the music because, hey,
I like the rhythm. Full stop.
That is why the people who help the music come into the air should be...
But you already said it yourself that it's commercial. And the hypnotic effect of music cannot be remonstrated.
Yeah. So, we should still bring some sense of sanity into music.
So who will do that?
We. That's why we're saying it to everyone listening to us. The government, inclusive, if you are to sign anybody into producing anything, they should look at the content. Because we are what we consume. If a society should be sane and should remain sane, there should be a level of mentoring or a level of censorship in whatever is done. And then we should also be able, as parents, caution our children on the kind of music they listen to.
Or do we allow them to expose themselves to? But how do we achieve that? But when I was growing up, there were records, you know, the vinyls, and they were in 3 sizes. There's a 33 and a half inches. There's
LP.
There's a smaller one, then there's the smallest of them. You know, just one track. I mean, you can't go and carry your daddy's LP with that his master's voice
Stylus.
You can't just go and carry it, say you want to. The day I tried it, I know that what my eyes saw. And then we grew, you know, into cartridges and cassettes and all those things. But today,
it's everywhere.
With a smartphone, you can download just about any song.
Music.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it'll be good to, okay, for instance, let me ask this more specifically. So, because what we are talking about is music fitting per age, music per age. So someone is in between age so and so. Is there a kind of music that they should listen to that will help them mentally, developmentally, and all those things? We know that older people, of course, naturally would love old school music, even though sometimes today, when the DJ is playing old school music, they say, play, I will reach till I die. Play, you know, more contemporary songs. Is there anything scientifically or, you know, that can help people guide their choices of songs?
Yeah, I know music taste is linked with maturation, like the age group. The elderly, for instance, will not find anything useful in the present kind of music that they listen to, some of them. The youths will find it very, very
You'll be surprised that when
resourceful.
the elderly go to party, that's the one they want to listen to.
They will dance to it. It depends. Some elderly, like age group, we have elderly. You know, they know their kind of music.
70s and above and the rest of them. Okay.
But for the youth,
they want to listen to old school.
But
old school includes Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson is not really their
kind of thing. Environment.
They should have outgrown it, shouldn't they?
Well, it depends. Because that can also help them mentally. It reminds them of their youth. Yes.
And that is a good thing.
And that is a good thing for them to go.
That's true. I remember hosting a radio show once, and I invited one of our friends, Barrister Obani. So this has nothing to do with law. You just come in to select your own kind of music to play, and at the end of the program, he said, Ayo, you have elongated my life. simply by remembering some of those. So how does that work really to help people?
It works, and that is a kind of music therapy in the making.
Okay.
Because before you administer a music therapy session, you must get the history or the background of the person, of your clients.
Okay.
So in getting that, you know the kind of music he's disposed to while growing up and all of that. So when you are able to get all of this and the person is in a tight situation where music just have to be the alternative therapy that is supposed to be applied, you just play a bit of that. That helps to the situation to improve in a way.
Memories are made of these.
Yes. Honestly, yes. So that helps. And then for the younger generation, it's their time. But like I said, it also starts from the school, the curriculum. We teach them, oh, this kind of music. We want an environment that is better than what we have. The kind of lyrics you compose, because we have different hierarchies in the department: music, composers, performers, teachers, virtuoso, conductors, and so on. The kind of music you are disposed to giving out to your people, you should go through stages. There should be so many people involved in making out this music come to the public. They should liaise with psychologists, music psychologists. They should liaise with people that are also linguists, that are able to help them channel all of this music. You don't need to give us those languages that are vulgar for us to understand that you are singing music. It may not sell, but it is what we need to have a better environment. It may not attract some class of people. It may not attract some environment. It may not attract all. But for the few that it will attract, at least if we have them, it is better for us as a people, as a nation. So there should be a kind of, well, going back to the curriculum, to the school. How much of music do we even have in the schools? How many schools teach music? How many public schools? To what level? From GS1 to GS3, they do music, but do they really do the whole of that music? Some people do music maybe as elective in SS classes. In primary schools, we also have music, but is it all primary schools? Private schools, I know they invest so much in music. Some public may not really do so much, because we have the creative and cultural arts curriculum combined together.
One second, when you say music, in some schools, music means singing.
Dance. Cultural display. End
That's
of the
what
year
it is.
party.
So it's not like you're going to go and listen to music and learn how to make music. So you are singing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So when all of this, when we are able to channel a curriculum that covers the entirety of music, which you can't even finish in a moment, when you're able to cover all of that, like, oh, if you are involved in music, if you do this, your intelligence quotient will improve. Your ability to learn, to speak other languages will improve. Your ability to communicate, you are an English speaker, but because you are singing in French, you learn that through music. You are able to do that.
Let me ask you a strange one. Okay. We've been told by other people who have come on this program that even growing babies in the stomach react to music.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
What kind of music should you play when you're pregnant? Should you play to your baby or to your
fetus? Any kind of music you like. You can decide to play any kind of music, and the child will be attuned to that music, because each time you play the music, you always see the bumping of the baby in your tummy.
Exactly, it's like he's dancing inside you.
And when the child is born, that same music, if you play it, the child turns the head to listen to what is playing. That is why most of the time when mothers are breastfeeding their babies, and the song they sing when breastfeeding, or their sound, the vocal sound they sing to the baby while breastfeeding, the research has it that it makes the child develop as much as the breast milk the child is taking. So these are things that we really do not look into them like that as if they are a big deal, but they help development and they help to change
a big deal
the
in
world.
The end.
Because at the end of the day, we want to have a better environment. We want to have well-being to be improved. We were striving towards a goal, and the goal is to have a sound health.
Well, madam, I think it's like you have just given us a lecture now. Literally, what's the word now? Literally unearthing so many things for us. Now, if you're a nursing mother, now you know what to do. That doesn't mean you should just go and get that song that the only thing you hear in that song is banana. Dr. Florence Nweke, thank you so much for being a part of our conversation this morning.
Thank you for having me.
I truly appreciate your time. Yeah. I'm sure that we're going to drag you down another time. All right, you know, we're talking about music. Let's see how much of it we can take after this break. Stay with us.